My journey of coffee started with the brewer, the filter, a cup, and the coffee. That's it. That's it. I was able to make fantastic, good tasting coffee. No problems at all. Simple recipe, couple pours here and there, a bloom here and there, and that was it. But now, because I'm guilty of it too, I have this. And I'm sure I'm forgetting something too. Sometimes I ask myself, why does coffee need so much help? What are we really doing here? Is it just a cup of coffee? Or is it more to that than what we're trying to do here? It's interesting just thinking about it. Like, why did all this stuff come to be? And it's interesting if you really think about it. Coffee, especially specialty coffee, has always tried to push the envelope, try to get better. We try to find things that we don't like, that we struggle with, things that make us advance our taste in coffee. Like all these tools and gadgets, they're not just made because somebody just wanted to make money. I know that's part of it. That's the way we can see it from time to time. But it was all about making this beverage just a little bit better. That we can taste a clarity just a little bit more. That we can push and grind the coffee finer so then we can understand what it's doing to us. That's the reason why we have all of this stuff, right? And I'm not even close to having all of this stuff, or more importantly, why we would really need all of this stuff. As I think here and try to contemplate and understand the rabbit hole that we put ourselves in, not all of us, quite a bit of us are still using a coffee maker, some coffee, and water, right? And I'm not saying that this stuff is bad. I'm guilty of it too. I am in the rabbit hole. I see it for what it is. But it does get you thinking, why? Why do we need to do this? Why does it make any sense for us to have a TDS meter to see what the extraction of the coffee is? If you really think about that, that's kind of gnarly, right? Kind of crazy. Or from our espresso to make sure it's evenly distributed. So we'll decrease the amount of channeling. Same thing with these gadgets here. We want a fast filter because it's coming down too fast, so that probably causes too much channeling. So then we slow it down, collect everything together. So then we can, so to speak, have even extraction. That we can taste what that coffee is doing. And truthfully, it does come back to the coffee. It really does. And coffee is not exempt in this either. We have different processings now. We have ways to make coffee taste like bananas, even though they never really tasted like bananas. Even just a hint of it, that's fine. But those are some of the things that we go through when we're just supposedly drinking coffee. But as I sit here and think about all the stuff that we have at our arsenal in order to make a single cup of coffee for either ourselves or for others, I'm just wondering, where does it stop? Where do we really go from here? Because if we were really honest with ourselves, it should be about the coffee. It should be about the seasonal aspect of that coffee. It should be if we're going to taste something different in that coffee. It can also be the things that we've learned throughout our journey, throughout that year of understanding coffee in general. We're just trying to understand it for what it is. Does this stuff help? It does. Does it get us a couple degrees closer to where we want to go? Sure, it does. But there is a law of diminishing return. Like, for instance, I'm picking on a booster. This is interesting. We've created a situation to where it's way too fast. And now we're trying to dial it back down. They have other boosters out there that have degrees of varying, I guess, clog ability. Some of them are really fine like this. Some of them start to back it off. And it's interesting. It seems like it's a marketing pool on a lot of it. And again, like I said, I don't have all of it. I will probably never get all of it, because to an extent, does it help? It does. But why can't we just make a cup of coffee and be happy? I love this device. I started to use it more often, just so I can understand coffee even more, understand what I'm doing, being able to replicate the things that I'm accustomed to when it comes to coffee. I think that's where it comes down to, the consistency. Because when you're consistent and you brew a cup of coffee and it's fantastic, and you start to wonder all the things that you've done in order to make that happen. And then when you try it again and it's not the same, that's kind of like where you're at with this. You're bamboozled. You're wondering what happened. Why didn't it keep doing the same thing that it has been doing before? So I think that's part of the reasons why we want this stuff. But then again, if you think about it, you have the mellow drip. You have the little dice that you can play around with to bring out different sweetness and acidity, as people will like to say. Is that really true? And at the end of the day, we're just trying to make coffee that much better. That's the alarming part about all of this. You know? And as I sit here and think and ponder about not so much the state of coffee, it's just where we're at right now. Like, for instance, it's a new dripper out, right? There's a couple drippers out right now. New UFO. It's more like a Deep 27, but it's more, faster, steeper, and all that stuff. You got the Hario Neo that supposedly increases clarity and body and all that shit that people say that happens when you drink a cup of coffee. I don't know if that's true. I played around with different brewers You'll see more videos as I go about it that way. But I've realized, or come to realize, is that coffee just wants to be drank. It doesn't care if we use third wave water versus tap water. Well, coffee does care. At least your palate does care. But coffee doesn't care. It just wants to be enjoyed. It just wants you to see it for what it is. See the personality for what it is. Can you push it, massage it, get the most out of it? Yes, you can. With simple tips and tricks and knowledge that you will accustomedly get from wherever, yes, you will. But the biggest takeaway here is that coffee doesn't care if you just use a filter in a kettle and you're calling it a day. It doesn't care if you're using a precision grinder in order to bring out more so what you want out of the coffee. It does not give a fuck. It just wants to be brewed. It doesn't care about its extraction because of the way you poured. It just wants you to drink it. And at times, a lot of times, we get kind of carried away about what's out there, what's new, in order to enhance our coffee. And it's interesting, coffee really doesn't need that much help. It needs water, a decent temperature. It needs a grinder to grind the coffee to your liking. And it needs you to be present in a little bit of time. That's it. But again, I'm deep into this rabbit hole. I'm trying to understand what's actually needed. Because it'll be great to just come up with your own recipe or whatever recipe that you do find. You brew a cup of coffee and you're happy. Because that's really what it comes down to. I know all of this stuff has come from either frustrations in the industry, frustrations at home, frustrations in competitions and all that good stuff. And we're just trying to get that much closer to this coffee being absolutely amazing, mind-blowing. But then we realize that all of that is subjective. What if we don't taste the notes that we are accustomed to tasting? What if we are realizing that we don't like that type of coffee? Probably we don't understand or get to the point to where we realize that we don't need all of this stuff. And when we come back down to cloud, whatever, to reality, to where we are with all of this, probably can just sit down and just enjoy that coffee for what it is. And if it's good, great. If it's not, sucks. That's fine too. Move on, live another day, to enjoy, to express, to do whatever. But I still think about that. Do you think about that? With all the stuff that's out here. Why does coffee need so much help? Or does it? It shouldn't. Yes, we've come a long way with technology, with advancements. But when precision, when invention, when just trying to get better for better sake, are we too far down this rabbit hole? When does it really stop? Because at the end of the day, I think all of this is just noise. we're not realizing that, but this is just noise because at the end of the day, it's just about the coffee. Let's just drink the damn coffee. You drink the damn coffee. Yeah. Talk to you later. Bye.